MXTV is proudly brought to you by Swan Insurance, protecting motorcyclists since 1956. And Motor, quality oils for more than 150 years.
Hello everyone and welcome to MXTV. I'm Lee Hogan, joined once again by Brendan Bell. Belly, how's your week been?
It's been fantastic, Lee. We've been out there doing up those project bikes, Cam and I, having a ball. However, mate, there's some congratulations in order because when we were on our break, the guy next to me here took up the role as MX editor for the biggest magazine in the town, ADB. Mate, tell us all about it.
Thank you. I think it was just a case of being in the right place at the right time.
Oh, it wasn't, mate. They got the best man in the business for it, let me tell you.
Well, they shifted premises down to Melbourne and being based down here, it all made sense. But I tell you what, I've had the opportunity to test some of the biggest and best bikes getting around. Matt Moss's, Kirk Gibbs, but Chad Reed's, I got to ride his bike, his factory 22 motorsports bike on his home track in Florida. It was very cool.
Not many people do that either, do they?
It was very cool, I must say. Enough of that. It's time to get into it because in tonight's show, Macca finds out all about the Conondale Classic. We check out the Aussie Romaniacs just before they headed off to compete in the Red Bull Romaniacs. Three-time four-day Enduro champion Daniel Milner sits down and gives us the lowdown on himself, and I take the CRF 250R through its paces.
Lee, we've got plenty on tonight's show.
We sure do, mate. In our first segment, though, Mac has got an invite to the Queensland Vintage Motocross Classic held at Conondale. Now, this is right up his alley, and let's see what he got up to.
We're the #1 club in Queensland and probably Australia. I don't want to brag, but we've done a lot of hard work, and this event's our pinnacle event that we hold every year in August, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. It's been going about 10 years now. It's the greatest event to come to if you want to race vintage motocross and see the best guys in Australia racing. It caters for bikes from pre-70 up to pre-90 and all ages, like from 16 years of age up to about 70 odd years we have some guys riding.
What sort of modifications are you allowed to do to the bikes?
There's actually a lot of modifications you can do. One of the first things guys do is usually put wide foot pegs on them, because a lot of the older bikes have very narrow ones. You can get trick exhaust systems for them. Suspension you can modify with modern internals, so you can get the bikes handling really well. And the same with engine mods. There's a lot you can do to the bike. So if you've got plenty of money, it's endless.
Came last year and we had really good battles all day with Glenn Bell and James Deacon and my brother Shane, and loved it. So I only sort of found out about it five days ago. So I booked a ticket and come across. Lucky I'd done some riding a few weeks before that.
Just got into vintage about 8 weeks ago.
And what are you riding today?
CR 480, 1983 model.
Did you ride like an 83 back in the day?
Nah, I was too young, I was 11. Had an XR80, mate, but every kid looked up to the guys on the CR 500s.
What's a 22-year-old riding old bikes for?
Oh, mate, just because I love it. It's great fun.
Yeah, not only is he riding an old bike, he's riding a 1989 model CR 500, one of the most powerful motocross bikes ever invented. Mate, how do you find riding the big 500?
Oh, mate, they get a bit of a handful in the longer motos.
And do you ride modern bikes?
Yeah, I ride a KX 250F normally, but I'd much rather get out in these things.
Big supporter of the vintage events, love what they do, bringing the people together, all the support around vintage motocross racing in general, basically.
Now, I've also noticed on your display over there, you've actually got some quite unique old type stickers, like there's some JT stickers, there's some Yugen Power stickers there. Can anyone come to you and say, listen, I need this, and you can do it for them?
For guys to find original products like that, it is hard, so they don't usually want to put them on the bikes. So they do come to me and say, Mick, can you replicate this sticker for me? Name and numbers on the jerseys are a big thing. Customising all the gear and that for the riders, and yeah, jersey prints, logos, names, numbers, everything. So if anyone needs anything like that, head to our website, find anything you need on there. I'm sure we can help them out.
It is open to everyone. We get all types of skills, from people that just enjoy riding a bike that they've restored to people that full-on sort of pro racers. A lot of the old guys still go pretty hard. It's amazing how quick they still go. They never lose the speed.
It's a great family atmosphere too, so there's a lot of families that come along to the event as well.
It's basically racing for the Saturday and Sunday, but everybody turns up on the Friday and sets up their pit tent and camp, and it's just a great weekend. Have a few beers around the fire, talk some bullshit, the normal stuff, and yeah, it's great.
For people watching it and going, wow, gee, that looks pretty good, I'd really like to give that a go. How do they get involved with it for next year?
Okay, you can look up our website. It'll keep you posted with what the calendar is for next year, and you can just contact the club. It'll be on next August for sure, so we hope to see everybody there.
He's a four-time Supercross champion.
F1 Moto is Australia's leading online retailer for performance and rebuild products. We have most aftermarket brands available for parts and accessories. Some of the performance products available for junior and senior dirt bikes are from VHM, HGS Exhausts, Nihilo Performance Products, Talon Wheels, RHK Parts and Accessories, available from f1moto.com.au or our new showroom at Appin, New South Wales. MXTV is proudly supported by KTM, Alpine Stars, Kawasaki and Pirelli.
Welcome back to MXTV. Well, recently a group of Aussies decided that they wanted to race the Red Bull Romaniacs. So we thought we'd catch up with them and find out what type of training they did leading up to the event.
It's always been a dream to race overseas. Romaniacs being a really hard event was something that appealed to me, so we got together, a few of us from Victoria, and we contacted the guys from the other states, and we've assembled here in the Otways, and we're running a training ride with the intention to go over as an Australian team. The Aussie Romaniacs team is, I think there's 18 competitors. We've assembled most of those guys. The group consists of the 4 Victorian riders, and there's 6 or so New South Wales guys as well.
I'm expecting it to be super hard. The prologue's probably the bit that scares the hell out of me, to be honest. Once we get out into the mountains, it should be good.
In Romania, you follow a GPS line, so you've got your GPS mounted to your bike and you follow a course, a set course. For instance, here in the Otways where I'm hosting the ride, I've gone out and I've mapped a GPS trail and I've loaded it onto the computer, and then when the guys turn up or the start of the day, I'll load their devices with that map and they just follow that map. We thought we'd go out there, mark a course and get the guys from interstate to come down and train doing that with their own devices. We're just searching mainly for difficult trails, difficult uphills, difficult downhills. A lot of them have to be on private property because of where we're restricted to go. So yeah, anything that's hard and technical. So that was the purpose of the Otways ride, and then the New South Wales guys are going to do that for the Victorians in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I think the best thing for me is learning how to use the GPS. All the navigation is done via GPS, so for me, I haven't used that before, so it's been really valuable. The riding's been pretty challenging.
The Romaniacs just looks like an awesome adventure. It's what I always thought of an enduro to be, like tough, long days, It's kind of how they used to be in the old days here in Victoria and probably in New South Wales, but they just don't exist anymore. You really can't find hard enduro anymore, and therefore you pretty much have to go overseas, unfortunately. Hard enduro consisting of really technical trails, lots of hills, lots of downhills, just stuff that's, you know, a lot of people don't even want to ride, like it's just too hard. That to me is an enduro, and that's what Romaniacs looks like to us. Romaniacs is going to be an awesome adventure, you know, going to another country. It'll be good just to see another culture and an amazing part of the world, basically.
We've been lucky enough to order some bikes that'll come straight from Austria that are going to get delivered to the race that we'll be able to use. A lot of the guys rent bikes. There's a lot of outfits over there for anyone that's considering doing it that you're going to hire bikes from. We're lucky to actually purchase them from KTM. They're going straight to the race and then they'll be shipped back home afterwards.
So far the boys from Victoria are doing all right with the slick conditions. Luckily we had some rain. New South Wales boys are struggling a little bit, but yeah, they're doing fine. They all ride well and they've all been around the traps a long time. It's really good, it's going well.
Yeah mate, I can't wait. It's a bit over 100 days now and yeah, it can't come soon enough. The training's all ticking along pretty well and I just want to get over there and get into it.
Well, Lee, that is something that I would not enjoy, buddy, is trying to go up and down those hills where bikes aren't meant to go up. I just don't think I'd enjoy that.
Well, one rider that does know how to go uphill is Daniel Milner. Now, Milner's won just about everything there is to win in the off-road scene recently over the last couple of years, and we got to sit down with him and just to try to find out a little bit more about this champion. Let's hear what he had to say.
I actually was pretty seriously into my football when I was younger. My dad actually played a couple of games for Hawthorn. It was pretty much leading that way, playing at the local team here. And then my uncle moved down from Darwin. He used to race and come down to mum and dad's house one day and watched me riding around on my old little XR100 and thought we should try to get him to come to a race. And I think my first ever race was a Victorian off-road championship race at Lancefield. And I can still remember it clear as day. I reckon it was -5 or something ridiculous like that. And yeah, went out there on the old little XR100 with bald tyres and went out racing, and I think I spent most of my time sliding on my face than I did on the bike, but I still had a ball. It was awesome fun. It was always just a good weekend going away racing with the family and also with the friends that we met there. And you know, we were always bashing around on push bikes when we weren't racing, and then as soon as it come to race time, we'd go out and bang bars. Went from the XR100 to an 85 and you know, I struggled getting onto a two-stroke for a couple of years there. It took me a little bit. Gradually just kept getting better and better on the bike and getting more ride time on the two-stroke, so I started feeling better and then ended up getting on the YZ125 and loved that, and then it just kept snowballing from then on. I was 18 when I won my first Victorian off-road championship, and I'd done it from expert, so that was a big accomplishment for me. There's not many people that had done that, come from expert and won outright, so I couldn't have done it without all the help from Steve Cooper from Christensen's Motorcycles and also Chad's off-road. He helped me out a lot that year, and we got stuff dialed in and pretty much held her on from there. All I wanted to do was just go racing and win. I get it from my father. He's just one of them guys that hates losing, and I'm pretty much the same. I don't like losing. Whatever I could do to benefit myself on the bike and also fitness and everything like that, I did to try to move on. And then I think it was 2011 there, I kind of started doing it as a job. I got enough support from Yamaha that I could give away my job, which I was working with my dad building. 2012 there, my first year with Ballards, it was a bit scary actually rocking up. Like my teammate was Stefan Merriman and Matty Phillips, and back then Matty Phillips was the man. He was pushing Toby Price. You don't have to even say anything about Stefan Merriman. All the stuff he's achieved, he's unreal, and it was so good working with them two boys, pushing each other and kept getting better and better, and it ended up helping me a lot on the bike, and especially with the 4 days. My first 4 day was in 2012 with Ballards there, and it was a bit of a home track advantage to myself. To go win that in front of my family and friends was a massive achievement for myself.
Is this just cold water there?
What's that?
Is it cold?
I think it's, what is it, 13 degrees?
Normally I get up, have some breakfast and sit back, watch a little bit of TV, and then I either go down to the gym, which is MAD Performance Gym, and I work with Joe Stevens down there. He works me pretty hard. If we've got a race, I try not to do too much on the bike before. I just do enough that I feel good and then go to the race. But if there's no race, then it's pretty much try to ride at least 3 days through the week, bust out the motos or sprints or whatever we got to do, and then normally, yeah, jump on a road cycle or a mountain bike and go bust some Ks out. I think the first time I really got to meet Dakar was at the ADB Awards. We went there and I was like, well, this guy's pretty badass. Like, it's Dakar, he runs off the motocross team. They've got the big semi and that, and I thought that was pretty cool. And he come up and he was into me straight away. He's like, what are you doing running around like a chicken wing kind of thing? Like my arms were pointing at the ground. And we worked a lot on technique over, I think it was the 2013 off-season, and got that better. And I guess that's one of them things that I'm hungry and I just want to go fast. And once you know that you know how to ride smooth, I guess it's just one of them things. You end up just going out there and you don't even think about it, you just do it. So far in my career, I've won, I think, 4 Victorian off-road championships. I've won 3 4-days now. I've won 1 Australian AORC outright and won 2 E1 championships. So my career in Australia has gone unreal so far, and I think it's time for me to move on and do bigger and better things. My plans next year is hopefully get to America and go race some GNCCs. And, you know, it's something I've always wanted to do. In America, the money, you know, it's going well with our sport, and especially, yeah, if you can be at the top of the game and let everyone know how strong the Australian off-road scene is, and also, you know, the motocross boys, like Chad Reed's proved that pretty much, how strong us Aussie guys are coming from down under and holding her on. You know, off-road, it's one of them things. You've got to be pretty much up the pointy end to be making a good living out of it. And yeah, with how motorbikes is going in Australia, you know, there was a few years there that it died pretty hard, and it was a struggle for everyone. But you know, it seems to be coming back up, and the support that Yamaha are putting into myself and their riders is just, you know, ridiculous. I think it's definitely one of the best companies to work for. I've had so much fun in the past few years working with Yamaha, and it's like a big family kind of thing. So we've all been working so well, and it's helping me get my results that I've got. It's just one of them things. It's a hit and miss. If you can get up that pointy end and make a living out of it, it's definitely something you want to do.
'14 Carrier Toy Hauler 360, a caravan designed for the adrenaline junkie. Thrill seeker, the wanderer, the ones who are not bound to your average getaway, but bound for adventure. Bring your favourite toys along and go on that trip you've always wanted. Carrier toy haulers are available from the following dealerships: MXTV is proudly supported by Suzuki, Bell Helmets, Yamaha, and SKF.
Hi, I'm Michael Marty from Serco Yamaha. Today we're going to have a look at Luke Clout's 2014 YZ250F. Starting at the front, we'll have a quick look at the bike. We run a GYTR oversized front brake. Just helps a little bit more stopping power for the boys after big long straights and stuff like that. We run Pirelli tyres, front and rear. The other things different to our bikes from standard is our suspension. It's a standard fork with DLC coated lower fork legs. We also use SKF fork seals, which are very good for stiction, and I find them a lot better. Triple clamps, we use extra triple clamps. A lot of adjustability in them, and they're probably the best on the market. Pro taper handlebars are our choice of bars. We use SPP radiator hoses, Hinson clutches in the bikes. All the stickers on the bikes are SPP. the Yoshimura exhaust on it as well, factory effect seat cover, and Pro Taper chain and sprockets. A few other little tricks that we do is, as you can see, we've got an airbox cut out. We just find that our bikes run a little bit better with the airbox cut out, just lets them breathe a little bit better. Apart from that, you know, the bikes are pretty standard. Our foot pegs are standard as well, filed just for the riders so they can get a little bit better feel on the foot pegs. You'll also see a lot of SPP bling products on the bikes, like gear levers, rear brake lever, and just a lot of the little anodised bits on the bike. Setting a 2014 YZ250F up for Luke Clout. He's a rider that likes his handlebars laid very back. As you can see, it's a lot further back than any other rider in the paddock. It works for him and we can't argue with that. Also motor-wise, he likes a bike that revs out nice and high, and as you can sometimes hear, he's always up high in the RPM. Okay, well that's Luke Clout's 2014 YZ250F from front to back.
Welcome back to MXTV, thanks to Swan Insurance. Well, up next, Lee takes a CRF 250 for a spin. Let's see how he goes.
We're here at the Nunawading and District Motorcycle Club testing the brand new Honda CRF 250R for 2015. What a bike it is. There's a few new changes that we need to make mention. Now up front we've got triple chamber, separate function fork. These shower units are unbelievable. The third chamber acts as a blow-off valve, so what it does is it keeps those air pressures a lot more regular throughout your whole ride. Also brand new for 2015 is what's called an engine mode button. It sits up on the right hand side of the handlebars here, and what it does is enables you to be able to choose from 3 separate settings, and it's all based around ignition curves. Now there are actually a few little changes internally with the engine, a little bit with the ignition mapping. I'm looking forward to seeing how that translates out on the track. And something that'll make the Honda 250 fans out there very happy, up the back of the bike, the twin tailpipes have got a slightly bigger core. Now, without a doubt, it's going to make it a little bit louder. We'll give it a bit more of a tougher note to it. Let's see how that feels. Looking forward to it. Well, it's time to give this thing a bit of a burl out there on the motorcycle track. Let's see how it goes. Unfortunately, we don't have Lukey Lee with us today. It's only me that's going to get to ride this bike. Looking forward to telling you how it goes. I wanted to see how some of the new things for 2015 actually worked out there on the track. Let's start off with the forks. Last year's forks worked exceptionally well. These new ones though, a lot more adjustability, so I found I could stiffen them up a little bit, could really charge into the face of the jumps, the landers. Big hits were no problem whatsoever, but they also seem to perform really well on the small little bumps. It tracked really good going into corners, and it's a little bit rocky and skatey here today at Nunawading, so no problem whatsoever up the front. I did notice the extra size in the front disc rotor, 270mm, you really can feel the extra stopping power. And for a rider like myself who's used to riding a big bore 450, this little 250 just stopped on a dime straight away. No more than one finger needed on that front brake, that's for sure. The new tyres, the Dunlop 52s, work great in these conditions, tailor-made for the hard pack ground. Wouldn't want to get them out in any of that real deep soft stuff that we might find at like a Rosebud or over in Western Australia with the deep sand. Now the engine, relatively unchanged for 2015. It doesn't seem to have been aimed towards one particular area, bottom end, mid, top. What you can feel though is a noticeable increase right the way through the range, and it happens as soon as you start to roll that on. You can notice a more distinct bark to the bike. It's got a real nice tough note to it now. Some of the other manufacturers have come up with a button that's purely for launch control, but Honda, ahead of the game here, they've come up with a button that changes your ignition curve around the whole track. And you can literally set it while you're riding. If you're right up there being a little bit of a heavier rider and a pro level rider, you're going to want to run that advanced curve. It really does make a difference, livens that engine up a little bit, and you can really notice a bit more horsepower. Well, that's a wrap here at Nunawading, testing the brand new 2015 Honda CRF 250R. What a bike, a great track here to be able to put it to the test, and I'm picking big things for this thing in 2015. Let's see how it goes.
For all your motorcycle insurance needs, visit swanmotorcycle.com.au.
Well, Lee, I tell you what, mate, you look like you were having a ball out there, throwing this thing around, doing big whips. Must have been a good time.
Oh, I had a great time. These things are so light and nimble, very easy to throw around. I certainly enjoyed myself, that's for sure. Well, that's all we've got time for in this week. If you want to go in with your chance to win the Milwaukee prize pack, head over to MXTV's Facebook and Instagram page, give us a share and a like, and you're going to give yourself a very good chance.
And don't forget, we've got the Instagram MXTV page. It's MXTV Show, I should say. And don't forget Hogan Racing 11. Get on his Instagram as well. And also have a look at the Facebook page, Lee. Did you know you can win a pair of Raptor foot pegs? We both love Raptor, don't we?
I love Raptor foot pegs. All right, well, that's all we've got time for. Thanks so much for joining us this week. But until next week, make sure that you hold it on. To throw around in the air. I had an absolute ball on it. Well, guys, are you gonna? You went like you were gonna say something.
Sorry.
Let's start with the forks, the new 40. My mouth is not working with my brain today. Right. Fighting for the throttle.
Done, like a dinner.
MXTV is proudly brought to you by Swan Insurance, protecting motorcyclists since 1956. And Motor, quality oils for more than 150 years.